The day crashed open with the tangles and hum of Mumbai's ever-busy veins. Slumji crouched on his striped mat, laptop bristling with stickers and hope, hands shaky as he pieced together his streaming rig amid the aromas of his mother's kitchen. The city's chaos seeped in through rattling windows, setting an uneasy rhythm to his live stream. Chat already needling him about the bank errand ahead. Only streamer doing bank tent. How you forget PIN. And donations chiming in like the city's own discordant orchestra. As international greetings rolled in and notifications stacked up, Slumji wavered between his longing for a day of smooth progress and the dread of Mumbai's next curveball. The blocked ATM card, another unreliable scooter, maybe even a run-in with the infamous power cut. Each ping, each kitchen clatter, was a reminder that the battle for control was just beginning, a motif that would haunt his day as he braced himself to wrestle order from the city's unpredictable grind, knowing this morning was only the prologue to whatever Mumbai had in store. By the time Slumji hit the bank, Mumbai's friction was a living thing. The queue a slow creeping animal with its own pecking order and small unwritten kindnesses. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, and the air tasted of sweat and metal as he wrestled his battered card into the ATM, every error message a punchline for the crowd behind. Tyler Rack-Lell, half amused and half exasperated, leaned in with an unsolicited pointer about the blue menu, not the green, while Shadow Mark III, pausing mid-chai delivery, tossed out. PIN means probably in need, brother. You want tech support or buttermilk? Each failed attempt pulled a new wave of advice and ribbing from chat, their digital voices stacking up with those of the regulars, until the whole lobby felt like Mumbai itself, relentless, jostling, but never letting anyone fall through the cracks. For a moment, Slumji felt the frustration boil up. What if the card never worked? If his grind just ground to dust? But then Tyler Rack-Lell, noticing the slump in his shoulders, slid him a cold bottle of water with a wink, and chat flooded the screen with, "You got this," and half-serious, "bank job application next?" banter. The setback stung, but the city, inside the bank and out across the screen, offered just enough noise and just enough shared struggle to keep him moving forward. Back out on the sun-baked street, Slumji's frustration from the bank still clung to him, but there was no luxury for sulking in Mumbai's relentless churn. He wove through mechanic alleys where the air was thick with grease and the sound of spanners on metal, pausing at Dashrath Auto Service as Shadow Mark III, ever the sly Kaiwala, called out, "Need a loan for that scooter repair, boss." The battered white Honda Activa was propped on its stand, a cracked panel, mud-caked tires, and a mechanic's hand pointing out every imperfection. But there was something almost hopeful in the chaos. Kukos greeted him with a grin and the last cup of chai, insisting, "You look like you need it more than me." While Trix One, perched on a rickety ladder, adjusting a tangle of festival lights, hollered down, "Warm sodium beats this cold white garbage, you know." For a moment, the grind felt less lonely. Each small gesture, every quick-fire joke or unsolicited tip from chat, the lifelines that kept Slumji upright as he patched together the day's hustle. Knowing one broken wire or misstep could spell disaster, but also trusting that the city, these people, this wild chorus, would throw out a hand before he hit the ground. As dusk thickened and festival lights bloomed above the street, the pulse of Mumbai grew communal, on-screen and off, until the boundaries blurred and the grind felt like a group endeavor. Dr. Henry, ever the power bank sage, bantered about buttermilk and battery woes from his usual chai stall perch, but tonight his tips ran deeper. A subtle reassurance as Slumji's stream flickered and chat's jokes twisted into concern. Princess Peach, too, halfway across the world, cheered from her bed, sending Slum Glovey into the digital tide, describing the festival's colors as Very beautiful Vikas, her words a steadying hand across cables and continents. Lofkan, master gossip at the chai stall, offered hostile wisdom and a spare thermos, reminding Slumji that someone was always watching out. Corners reserved if the night ran long. Even as festival noise swelled, chat's chorus cut through. Half advice, half affection, a patchwork family binding Slumji to the city's rhythm and each other, proving that Mumbai's resilience wasn't just in its streets, but in the way strangers became kin, one small gesture at a time. Under the electric glow of Ganesh Chaturthi, Slumji stepped into the pandal and the city's heart at once. Caught between the rush of drums and the fizz of chat, Mumbai's chaos now somehow choreographed. His exhaustion and the weight of earlier setbacks loosened as he joined the throng before the towering idol. Colors, pink, green, saffron, danced across faces and saris, and the air shivered with devotion, laughter, and the clack of camera shutters. In one corner, Aranrayan's sketchbook finally drew curious onlookers, a group of kids peering over his shoulder as he captured the mountain of miniature villages and the waterfall glowing blue in the lights. Their awe cracked through his shyness, and for a flicker he was part of the celebration, not just its witness. Meanwhile, Trix One, whose day had started with tangled wires and complaints, stood transfixed as his handiwork, those warm yellow bulbs, lifted the whole street into a storybook. "Not so bad, huh?" he muttered to Slumji, pride finally overtaking frustration. As chat whooped over festival emotes and cracked jokes about buttermilk offerings, Slumji, sweat-soaked, grinning, felt the city's resilience pulse through him. Each light and voice proof that even after a day of small defeats, Mumbai would teach you how to begin again. The festival spilled out in 1,000 living fragments. Children darting beneath glowing banners, their laughter snapping like firecrackers as they tried to sneak a peek at Aranrayan's sketchbook. He hesitated, but when a boy in a Ganpati crown asked to see, he turned the page, and a small crowd gathered, suddenly seeing their own street, their own celebration, through an artist's eyes. Ginny's Jiwa01 prowled the entrance, cornering a priest with her notebook. Her face lit up as he explained the difference between Rizwan and Ridwan, his words weaving new connections in her head and, through her, to a curious world of viewers. In a side lane, elders pressed marigolds and rupees into a battered offering box, whispering prayers that folded the hardships of the day into something softer. The city's wounds and hopes all mixed together in the halo of festival light. Trix One, who'd spent half the afternoon grumbling about cold LEDs, now watched his handiwork turn the whole pandal gold, a little dazzled at how small acts, his, Aranrayan's, everyone's, could transform the grit into beauty. Through it all, Slumji and his chat didn't just witness the celebration, they nudged it along, a ripple here, a joke there, until even the strangers in the crowd felt like old friends in a city that never lets you stand alone for long. As the drums pounded and the colors of Ganesh Chaturthi blurred into a dizzying mosaic, Slumji's phone flashed that dreaded low battery warning, one red bar between him and digital oblivion. For a moment, panic threatened to ice over the sweat on his brow. The chat, picking up on his frantic glances, erupted in F battery and forgot where you parked. While Trix, half mocking, half concerned, hollered from the light scaffold, "Try plugging it into the buttermilk dispenser, bro." But then, like Mumbai itself, the crowd flexed. Dr. Henry, with a wink and a power bank fished from his reporter's bag, reached through the throng, his gesture saying, "We don't let each other drop." Lofkan shuffled up with a thermos of chai. Shadow Mark III cracked another joke about charging with festival lights, and even Aranrayan, usually silent, offered a sticker to cover the battered phone case, a small act that felt, in this chaos, like armor. In that haphazard circle, with Slumji's stream held together by borrowed cables and stubborn goodwill, Mumbai's resilience clarified. Not some heroic individual grind, but the messy improvisational grace of people showing up for each other, laughing in the face of breakdown, and making the night go on. Back in the kitchen's golden hush, Slumji pressed his palm to the cool steel of a battered tiffin, the city's noise muffled to a distant thrum. His mother, humming as she ladled dal into bowls, caught his eye and offered a tired, knowing smile, the kind that said she'd seen every kind of Mumbai day, setbacks and small miracles alike. The phone propped on the spice rack still glowed with Chat's rolling affection. Princess Peach 2 sending hearts, Dr. Henry joking about overnight buttermilk delivery, Shadow Mark 3 promising chai for the next bank run, each message a thread weaving Slumji's grind to a far-flung mosaic of friends and strangers. For a moment, the failures and fixes of the day collapsed into this quiet unity. A kitchen lit with gratitude, laughter echoing through the walls. Slumji's shoulders finally eased. Mumbai's resilience didn't feel abstract anymore. It was here, in the clatter of spoons, the warmth behind every screen, and the unspoken pact that tomorrow, whatever the chaos, none of them would face it alone.